Welcome. I'm Barry Garcia, the Technical Sales Manager for Nanlite. And today we're going to talk about the 60B, as well as the Compacs, as well as the SA panel lights. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started with our first question of the day. And that first question is going to come from Joe P. in Syracuse, New York. And Joe wants to know, what is the output of the Compac 200 at 6 feet or 2 meters? And he's also looking for what's the beam angle of that light. So Joe, good question. The Compac 200 at 6 feet is 1,359 lux. Now, the lumens output at around 1 meter or so is 16,720 lumens. Now that's a lot of lumens. That's bright light. Again, bright soft light. And then lastly, he wanted to know what the actual beam angle is. On a 200 or most of the Compacs, you got about a 130-degree beam angle or so that allows for that nice wide spread. All right, so moving on to our next question. Question number 2 is going to come to us from Lauren in Kansas City, Missouri. And she's asking, what is the brightness difference between the Forza 60 and the Forza 60B? That's a good question. Really and truly, the Forza 60 with the reflector is around 1,234 lumens at 3 meters. And then the Forza 60B with the reflector is about 986 lux at 3 meters. So 1,234 lux versus 986 lux. 60 is a little bit brighter than the 60B. I'd say roughly in there between 30–40% or so. So that Forza 60 is going to be just a bit brighter. Now that is because, remember, you've got daylight and tungsten LEDs in that cob chip on the 60B. So really and truly, you've got a variable color temperature because you can go 2,700 all the way up to 6,500. So you got a lot of different colors you can play with. But if that's what you're looking for, then that's what you need with the new 60B. All right, moving on to the next question. And the next question comes to us from Laney in Nashville, Tennessee. And Laney's asking, how long will the batteries last on the new Forza 60B? So the new Forza 60B still uses the NP battery handle that we have, but it also uses the new V-mount battery that we have. That handle actually allows you to use a 14.8 volt and put it on the handle and be able to kind of walk around and be mobile, which is very cool. Now, if you're going to use the V-mount handle, I would say you're probably looking at around an hour or two, depending on your brightness. And remember, that's going to also depend on the life of the battery. Now, if you're going to use the MP handle, let's just say MP 750 batteries, you're probably going to look a little bit under an hour or so with the MP 750s. Now, again, depends on your brightness, depends on the age of the batteries. Now, if you're going to use MP 970s, you're definitely looking at over an hour, probably closer to 2, depending on brightness, depending on age of the battery. Okay? All right, let's move on to our next question, which is question number 4. And this comes from Richie in Montgomery, Alabama. And Richie is looking to know, how many watts are the 600, the 900, and the 1200 SA lights, panel lights, using when they're powered on? So what does their watts draw? Really and truly, Richie, you're probably looking at around 43 watts on the 600, about 65 watts on the 900, and about 86 watts on the 1200. Now, these are going to be really good lights if you're going to use in like a studio setup, especially the DMX version, the DSA. That is because, you're going to be able to put these panel lights pretty much anywhere you need to and be able to light, whether it's a set or maybe a scene or something like that, and be able to control them remotely with the DMX 512. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go to our last question of the day today, and that is going to come to us from James in Sacramento, California. And James is asking, what panel lights does Nanlite make that are DMX 512 compatible? Good question. Just like we spoke about, the DSA panels, the 6, the 9, and the 12, those are all going to be DMX panel lights that are available to be able to be used in like studio type situations. But you can also use the mix panel. It's got DMX as well. And that panel is basically going to allow you to control the color temperature, the brightness, as well as some of the RGB effects, and as well as the HSI and some of the other special things that are on there. Now remember, a panel like that is going to take up quite a few of your fader channels to be able to control all those special little goodies that you can do when you're using a DMX 512. Same with a bicolor SA panel. You're going to have a couple of channels that are going to be taken up because you're going to be able to control the color as well as the brightness. All right. And that pretty much does it today for our 5 questions. Now, remember, you can always send more questions into us via our website, via social media, via YouTube. It's up to you. And there are no stupid questions. So please send them in and let's get your stuff answered for you. All right. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.